up, Sean? You at an ant farm? Yeah, that's great. Hi, everybody. How are you this morning? What up, St. Paul? So good to be here. Okay, so before we get started, and I'm going to make sure I don't fall off the back of that stage.
I got you.
We'll save that for later.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, before we get started, we're going to do a quick survey. How many of you had heard of the Coven prior to the Creative Mornings talk? What?
Exciting, you guys.
Oh my God. Oh my God. How many of you have been to the Coven?
Oh, welcome back.
Welcome back.
This is not the Coven.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. This is a dinosaur
The
farm.
dinosaur farm. How many of you are members at the Coven?
Oh, hi, Booth.
We love you. We're gonna kiss you on the face later on.
Consent.
Yeah, consent. Okay, so yes, for those of you who support us and know us, thank you for being here. We're so excited to have your love and affection. For those of you who don't know anything about us, we're really excited to share our story and tell you a little bit more about who we are. So, my name is Bethany Iverson.
I'm Alex West-Steinman.
And we are two of the co-founders of the Coven, which is a community and workspace for women and non-binary folks in the North Loop. And today we're going to tell you a little bit about some of the insights and the learnings and the stories that we've come upon during our time creating our little community. And before we do that, I want to give a special thanks to Drew and the Creative Mornings Minneapolis and now also St. Paul team. Thank you for having us and for inviting us here. And to the lovely folks at the Science Museum, your hospitality and just welcoming us into your space is really appreciated. We are working on opening a St. Paul Coven location.
You heard it here first.
And so we're just going to stay here and do it here. And we hope that that's okay. And we'll figure out rent later.
So before we get started, well, Bethany and I are two of the sister witches of the Coven. We have two other co-founders. There's four of us in total, and they're in the front. Please stand up, you dopes. Aaron and Liz. They're our better halves, and while this story is something we're going to tell up here today, it belongs to those two. Our incredible 5-person staff team, and the 340 plus members that we have at the Coven. So, we are kind of big fans getting to the punchline, so I'm just going to tell you the end of the story and then we can all go home. So there's been 3 major themes that we've discovered over the last year and a half, and here they are. So the first is that we've become this container for the magic and energy that women and non-binary folks make when they come together and create space together. 2, we've been able to honor the lived experiences of each individual in our space. And 3, we listen and evolve with our membership. So we've been open for 6 months now. We've had this idea for a year and a half. It's evolved over time. We're constantly asking for feedback and changing. Makes it really easy as business owners. I'm sure our staff is like, thanks. Yeah, and Bethany's gonna talk a little bit about how that comes to life today.
Okay, so we're gonna go back like a year and a half to when we started thinking about what the Coven could be and what kind of a community we might want to architect. And you guys, I'm not gonna lie to you, we were in kind of a dark place. And the world felt really heavy in the current political and cultural moment that we were in. It felt really heavy, and we were working in careers that no longer suited us, where our values were no longer in lockstep with the work that we were doing every day. And we were really frustrated, and it felt really bad. And then we started to look around, and we saw so many people doing so much incredible work, both locally, nationally, internationally. And we were just inspired by the beacons of light that these humans had become. And so you'll see a lot of these people are represented on this slide. Some of them local loves like Andrea Jenkins and Jean Crane, Ann Kim, Davis Sensman, obviously Ilhan Omar. Amazing people doing incredible work here locally who just give us life. And then our future best friend, Michelle Obama.
I texted her, she couldn't make it.
Yeah, she'll like probably stop by later. It's totally good. Angela Davis, obviously, Tarana Burke, Grace Bonney, and others. And we just saw like, there are people who are doing such incredible work, and they are these cracks of light in this world that feels really, really dark. And we stopped thinking about how bad we felt for ourselves and how we felt angry and how we felt, unsafe, or any of the things that women felt in 2017. And instead, we just thought like, there's a lot worth celebrating, and we think that there is another world that is possible. And these people showed us that there is, and so what if we put our energy instead of into like complaining, and we put it into trying to create this world that we can imagine so vividly. We wanted to essentially model the hope that we felt from these people for others. And so what we began to do was conspire to build this new world. And we began to do that in conversation with one another over lots of meals and glasses of wine, of like, what would a community look like if we were to just build a space that we think the world, and that we think especially the Twin Cities deserves. So what we knew we needed to do was, spoiler alert, we did not know how to run a business. Nope. We're very good at it now, but we didn't.
We're very okay at it now.
Yeah, we're a little better than fine. But we knew that we needed to talk to a lot of people, because we knew that this couldn't just be our vision for this world. And so what we set out to do was just talk to people. We wanted to know, like, not just the four of us, what would we need to feel inspired, but what would other people need to feel inspired? And so we wanted to bring them on that journey with us. So what we started doing was just talking to people. We got together in Erin's beautiful home, with lots of different women and non-binary folks. We would bring 8 to 15 people together at a time on weeknight evenings. We cold emailed a lot of people who we'd never met before, and pitched them of like, we have this crazy idea and we'd love for you to come talk with us about it. And over the course of last summer, we just filled up Erin's house with incredible people and their stories. And we spent a lot of money on cheese last summer, I'm not gonna lie to you. We spent a lot of money on cheese. And we would gather these women together for what we called witching hours, which is very cute and clever, especially when you think of the, like, right, we all get the joke. It's very clever.
And that's why people responded to our emails.
Yeah.
It was like, come see the coven,
Yeah.
enjoy witching hour.
Yeah, we want to do some witchy stuff.
What the?
Yeah. And then the lawyers would show up and they were like, what?
What is this? Is this something?
Yeah, and then we would all start crying, because when women get together, really powerful things happen. So we would be sitting in Erin's living room with 15 women, or not women and non-binary folks, and just everyone would start introducing themselves and just say a little bit about their personal story. And within moments, it was like literally the whole room would be in tears, and we would be holding hands, and it was like we had never met a lot of these people before. But the stories that women and non-binary folks experience, and the shared lived experiences are so common across age and industry. We all felt just such a deep connection to one another. And so what we did was we just kept those conversations going, and we found that with each of them, there was a lot of pain that came up, right? A lot of trauma and a lot of things that, like, horrible things that women and non-binary folks had lived through. But at the end of each one, there was so much joy. And so with each conversation, it felt like, God, that was even better than the last one, and that was even more reaffirming than the last one. So we just kept talking to people. We met people in coffee shops. We actually kept the Bachelor Farmer Cafe open in 2017.
You're welcome, Eric T.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. We're definitely the reason he has an empire.
For sure.
I think everyone would, I really hope he's not here.
Like iced lattes.
Sorry. He's lovely. He's really lovely. Yeah, so we just started talking to people, and we stopped talking about all the things that were broken, and we started talking about what we could possibly do together. And that, for us, was such a pivotal moment.
So as we were kind of building awareness last summer, and we kind of approached the fall, we knew that we needed some proof of concept for this idea before we started asking people for money, go figure. And so when we were in these coffee shops and having conversations one-on-one with people, they kind of got it, but they were like, that sounds like a fine idea. I might get on board with that. But when people were in a room together, even when we were doing focus groups, they could feel that experience. They could feel what it would be like. They were like, this feels good. I want to feel this more. And so we knew that it was something that needed to be permanent. It needed to be a location, something that people could keep coming back to. So how many people have been to like a women's conference before? Yeah, cool. They're super awesome and inspiring and engaging, and you feel amazing when you're in this room with incredibly like-hearted people. And then you leave and you throw all those business cards away and the garbage that you got in your hotel room and all that stuff, just kind of that magic that was in that room when you were inspired just dissipates and goes away, it just dies. And so we wanted that to not die when people left our space. And we wanted people to keep coming back to it when they needed to be refueled and recharged. And that's how we knew that we needed something sustainable. And that's how we came up with the concept of a space. We hosted these pop-up events all around. Sorry, I'm like right in front of you.
I spend most of my adult life behind Alex's hair,
Right,
so
that's true. That's very true. We hosted these pop-up events all over the Twin Cities, wanting to gauge which neighborhoods people were interested in coming to. How many people was too many people? We had everything from like a 15-person event all the way to 150 people, and the same feeling and energy and spark that we felt in Aaron's living room was happening in these bigger venues that people really seem to enjoy. So we got ourselves a really beautiful container, the most beautiful that we could find and afford. It's in the North Loop. It acts as an anchor for hundreds of women and non-binary people. We now have 340 plus members. And people come here to find solace, and they're here on their best and their worst days. We've seen people come in who've just won clients. We've seen people come in who have just lost a loved one, and we're here for them in whatever way possible. We act as connections officers, we act as therapists, we act as IT professionals now. But it's basically this sanctuary where our community can be whatever version of themselves they are on any given day, and we see ourselves and our members see us as this light in some pretty dark times. And you'll kind of see messages in our space, and I'm just showing you some images of what we've got there, because we believe that the messages you see every day reflect how we see ourselves, and so we want things that bring joy to our members, because we believe that joy is an act of resistance, and we have a shit ton of resistors in our space, which is pretty awesome. We've got an army of incredible women and non-binary people. Yeah. Yeah, I got you. So we designed this space specifically to be this beacon for joy. Andrea Jenkins, who Bethany mentioned earlier, was one of our early supporters. She's a member. If you don't know her, she's the first trans woman council member, and she's in Minneapolis. We were so lucky to have met her early on. She was one of those people we cold emailed and was like, "Hi, you want to meet some witches?"
She totally showed up and she was like, I don't know what
this is, but I'm here. And so, but we were in this space where we were really angry and frustrated and explaining to this group of what the coven could be, but from a place of like frustration and wanting to burn everything to the ground. And Andrea kind of stopped us, and in this moment of, like it took us a pause and it really pivoted our business. I don't know that the coven would look the same without this statement, but she said that if you're gonna burn something down or burn a system down, you need to build something in its place, and build something joyful, and build something full of light. And that was a huge moment for us, because then we started doing our business from a place of joy and love and light and heart, and that just shifted what we became.
Okay, Alex, let's switch again.
Okay.
I'm gonna go back because you're gonna all start reading that slide, and then you're not gonna listen to what I say. I know how this goes.
Done this before.
We've done this before. Okay, well, not this specific. This was all custom for you guys. Since you're very
First time.
special. Yes. Okay, so here's what I will tell you. When you start a business that is oriented around community, you, spoiler alert, aren't gonna make a ton of money right away. However, the thing that will fuel you will be the incredible stories that you hear every day from the lives of the people that you're working to affect and touch. And so in our inbox on any given week, we'll receive notes from people who tell us what kinds of experiences they are having at the Coven. Sometimes those experiences are like, if Kathy on floor 3 doesn't talk quieter, I'm gonna lose my mind. And we forward those emails right to our staff. And then we get other emails, we just go right to our staff. We also get other emails like the one that I'm gonna share with you. And these are, what I'm going to show you is the exact reason why we made the Coven, and it embodies everything about what we hoped our community would represent. So this is from one of our members. She said, "For me, this isn't just a place where I come to work. It's the place where I have been able to come and be me. There are no expectations of who I should be, and since I don't have to fit any mold, I've been able to understand who I am. I can't explain to you the doors that have opened in my life because of being here. I've been able to cultivate so many relationships that have opened up my world. And then we read these emails late at night and we cry a lot. It's just tears. It's just tears. And then Alex's grandparents send us emails that they don't know they're sending to everybody.
Oh,
They think they're just yeah, that's really
My grandparents don't know that the hello email is not
they
just
don't get
mine.
it, but it's really cute. So we see emails like this, and they to us are like, oh yeah, we have to keep going. You know, we're going to keep going, and we're going to do so with so much joy, because if we've been able to even help one person discover new parts of their identity and new depth to who they are as a person, like, awesome. You know, that's amazing. That's exactly what we built the Coven to do. So we're always trying to figure out, like, how can we do the most good for our members and for the world.
That phrase, do the most good, has been our mantra from the very beginning. It's, I don't know, like 12 feet of art in our space, in our beautiful stairwell. We have a big sign that reminds us every single day to do the most good, and it shows up in a lot of different ways. In how we make every single business decision, in how we interact with our members, in who we invite to be speakers, and folks who reach out to do programming with us, and even some of the snacks in our pantry. We're always looking for sustainable things, looking for women-owned businesses to promote. And with equity at the heart of our business, we just believe that, you know, an enterprise can make money and also do the most good in a community.
Okay, so we wanted to build a business that was decidedly of the Twin Cities, and we know, and I'm guessing a lot of you know, that in the Twin Cities, life is very, very good for some people, and it's very, very difficult for others. And so we thought, what kind of behavior would we be modeling if we didn't try to take one small step towards solving this enormous equity gap that exists, especially for people of color here in the Twin Cities? And so we prioritize building equity into the heart of our business. And so, as Alex said, we are a for-profit organization, but we have this social enterprise that kind of sits at the core of everything that we do. And right now we embody that through this 5-for-1 model. So for every 5 memberships that we sell, we give 1 away, and we've given away more than 65 of those to date. And what it means, which is really, thank you, and it's awesome. Thank you. It's just people, I don't know, there's just people, but thank you. Thank you. I'll thank everyone individually who claps. But so what it means is that on any given day, you will walk through the Coven and you will see a community of people together that looks like the makeup of the Twin Cities. And it's really important to us that we created a community space that's reflective of the actual community that we're in, and that it's not another space for wealthy white people who can afford a private membership. And so today, this 5-for-1 model is our best foot forward. I think in the future, we believe, you know, there are so many opportunities to expand on this and make it even greater. But it is right now kind of our primary way of doing the most good. And I will also just tell you, like, these memberships that we give away, we prioritize them really unapologetically for folks who have historically been pushed to the margins. And at first we kind of felt weird about it, like, is this weird for us to say, like, these are for people from communities of color, these are for folks from the LGBTQA community, these are for immigrants, these are for those who are disabled or differently able, these are for single moms. Is that weird for us to say that? And then we just thought, like, no, because if we don't say that we're doing this unapologetically, how could anybody else know that it's okay to do the same thing? And so, thank you. Okay, yeah.
We'll dance later.
So hopefully, I don't think anybody's gonna sue us for that. It seems like probably.
Our lawyer said it was fine.
Yeah.
She said it was fine.
And they're not here, so that's fine. Yeah, and again, like, this is not about charity, right? So this is not about, like, oh, we're giving a handout. This is like the ideas of all of the folks who are historically on the margins. They make our fabric stronger and better, and they make our community brighter and more creative. And so we just think that it's like, it's not about fairness. It's just like, why would you do anything else? It just doesn't even make sense to do it any other way.
And I think part of that's become, you can go to the next one. Part of that's become what we dreamed for our space, is for VPs of banks to be sitting next to community organizers, talking about how they can support each other, or just talking about what they had for lunch. It's just this incredible community that looks different than anywhere else that we've seen. So we're happy to be that space. And part of it is because we believe that representation matters, and that shows up in a lot of different ways. Some of that is in big ways, like our 5-for-1 model, and some is small, like the food that we have, or, and it's all free. We have free snacks, guys, come on by. We also have products for every skin and hair type in our beauty bar and our self-care room, which is pretty incredible. We've got beautiful artwork on our walls. Actually, Ashley Mary is here. Hi.
Oh my God,
Your earrings,
we're so excited. We love you. We have your work up on a couple of our slides, and we also don't want you to sue us.
If I like hashtag Ashley
We love
Mary, is that
everything
okay?
about
Okay,
you. Okay,
great.
we love you. Come on.
Awesome. Yeah. Woo. And then we've got playlists that are global. We've got local artists like Lizzo. She's here, probably not. And even our presenters that we have. So we strive to have over 50% of our speakers come in would be represented from those communities that Bethany mentioned earlier. And members have been brought to tears by some of the most minute details in the space. It's not necessarily like the beautiful exposed brick, although I'm sure Erin probably cried about that a little. We saw it, yeah, big time. But our members have been moved by some of our smaller details, like the pillows and the fabric that we have that makes them feel like home. We had a woman come in from Nigeria. We didn't know where she was from, but she enjoyed the space so much, and she just kind of started getting teary-eyed when she saw our couches, and we were like, "Are you okay? Do you want to sit down?" And she was like, "These pillows remind me of home." We asked her where she was from. She said she's from Nigeria, and those pillows were actually made in Ghana. We sourced them from a woman named Kate Herzog from House of Talent. She sources all of her products from Africa, sends the money back into her communities back in Ghana to provide some economic stability there. And she was just so moved that worlds away, she could feel like she had a little spot of home. We have had members walk into our self-care room, which has products for every skin and hair type in there, products for curly hair. I have only ever been to public restrooms with hairspray and fine-tooth combs, which I will destroy. I will destroy them. Destroy them all. And I think people just want to feel seen and heard and noticed and validated. And I think our space validates a lot of identities, and we will constantly be evolving as people come with new identities that we haven't met yet. But we never want anyone to feel like the only in our space. We've all 4 of us, and probably everyone in this room has felt like an only at some point in their life. And we just don't want anyone to feel like that, so we want to validate each individual's identity. And so we do it in a few different ways. We don't police women, so that means that if you're a loud talker, you're a loud talker. We don't police what you wear, how you come into the space. We allow members to have whatever kind of day that they want to have. If they are in a shitty mood, that's fine. Just don't be an asshole, you know, just be nice. But you don't have to smile when you come in. Nobody's gonna like approach you and ask you to smile. And third, you know, we don't ask members if they're sure of their experiences. In a time of Me Too and Time's Up, we see these awful stories about harassment, and the first thing that the media asks is, are you sure that this happened to you? And are you sure that you experienced it in this way? And we just don't ask that. We choose to believe the women and non-binary people in our space and believe in their truth. So we learned a few things over the last 6 months, maybe just like 3 things, only 3 things. Other than like, we still don't know how the printer works. That's not on this list of things that we learned. But a few of the things that we've learned have to do with what our members need. And the first thing is that we have to convince every single person that comes into our space that they need something from us. They need a coven, they need a community, and that it's worth the investment. Our prices are really low. We have free memberships, so it's not necessarily always a cost barrier for people. But for a lot of folks, it's the idea that an investment in themselves would make them feel guilty or would make other people less important in their lives. And so we just try to teach people that self-care is a radical act of joy and that they deserve it. Another thing that we've learned is that our members want to be extremely involved in the business, and that is why we built this. We crowdfunded $315,000 in 4 months last fall. We have no outside investors yet. We haven't taken out any loans yet. And that is both awesome and also terrifying because we rely solely on memberships and sponsorships and corporate partnerships to fuel this thing. So our members are incredibly involved every step of the way, so we are always asking for feedback. We want to make sure that everybody's identity is being validated. But that also means that we have to decide what our yeses and our nos are and where our guardrails are and how we can operationalize the business, but also continue to be visionaries and grow. And then the last thing is, one of 3 million things that we have learned is that we as co-founders are still desperate to feel joy, and sometimes we do, like today, we're very joyful, but sometimes we want to throw the printer out the window, and not necessarily because of the printer, just in general. And so I think when we're in dark times, it's really difficult to feel both of those things, joy and pain, or joy and sadness, joy and anger. And we're still learning how to grapple with that and how both of those things can be true. And we want to model that for our members as well. And so we're continuing to learn that joy doesn't necessarily mean guilt, and we shouldn't necessarily have to feel all the things all the time, but we can in our space.
And then we also wanted to just touch quickly on like the things that we're actively working through. So we have certainly learned a lot in the last 7 months, but yeah, we're just at the very beginning stages of this adventure. And so we're gonna talk for just a second about some macro stuff that we're paying a lot of attention to right now, as well as some of the micro things like toilet paper, which people use. I don't know if you guys know that. People use it and you have to replenish it.
We use a lot of it.
Especially ladies. And I'll let you figure out why. Okay, so there are a lot of harmful truths or myths, I should say, that we came into this business with that I think a lot of women and non-binary folks and a lot of men are taught to believe about themselves and their identities and their existence in this world. And so one of those things is this idea of scarcity, and about how women often in professional environments are taught that there is room for one at the top, and if you are not that one, then there is just no room for you and you'll have to figure out something else. And it pits women against each other, it puts us in competition with one another, when in reality, the ways that women are intuitively programmed to work is to collaborate, share resources, and make those pools of resources bigger. And so every day in our business, we are reminding ourselves that there is enough room, that there is enough time, that there is enough money for all of us to be successful, for all of us to have a platform, and we want our members to internalize that as well, right? So we're all unlearning all of these really harmful things together. And dudes, you have a totally different set of these harmful truths that you have to unlearn. That's not our job, but I think it should be someone's. And we love you a lot, and we'll support you in any way that we can. Okay, so we also, as Alex was saying, we're really trying stuff out. We're trying stuff on. We're not considering anything too precious, right? We'll plan these events and be like, this is gonna be the best event ever. Everyone's gonna love this, and then like 3 people will sign up for it, and we'll be like, no one liked this event. We're idiots, we're dumb. And so what we're doing is we're giving ourselves permission to say it's okay to try things and to have them not work out. We are reminding ourselves that time is very long and that we are very early on in our journey. So we're gonna keep trying things until we've exhausted time. And then, I think we talk a lot about joy, and we talk about joy, and love comes right alongside that. And a lot of people, I think, because of the name The Coven, or because of what people think feminism might mean, a lot of people, I think, assume that like there's a lot of anger that happens in a space like ours, or there's a lot of like dark witchy stuff.
I will say we have had a cauldron in our space.
We have. But like
not every day.
But like
that was a one-time thing.
Yeah, joyful cauldron. It was good. It was really fun. And so what we're always trying to do is all of this hard work, right, from a place of love. And so that might mean like a member just has a bad day and they take something out on one of us, and that's okay. Like we've all been there. Or maybe it means that someone is trolling us on the internet. And you know what, like rather than get angry and get petty, like we can feel love for that person that like they are so afraid and they are so threatened by the idea of equity that they're lashing out at us, and like that's not on us, that's on them. And so in every way we're trying to find like how do we come from a place of love, and I think that is a test that or work rather, that if we all challenge ourselves to do, there would be so much more joy in the world. And so we're affecting that in our little corner of the North Loop and now in our new location here in the beautiful Science Museum of Minnesota. But it's something that all of us can do every day in our own small ways.
So just to remind you, we're still a business. Joy can also be profitable, and we just know that there's no entrepreneur. Are there entrepreneurs in the audience? Freelancers? Yeah, hi everybody. You guys didn't get into business to like fix the printer, fix the toilet paper, call a plumber, become IT specialist. Like that's not, I mean, unless you're an IT specialist and that's your job.
Or a plumber.
Or a plumber, yeah, right. Okay, yeah, so maybe you did. But likely you did not. And those are some of the things that we have to continue to do and figure out how to staff it, how to operationalize those things again so that we can continue to grow and scale. There's a lot of stuff that we do that traditional like capital raising business humans like don't understand. Like they don't understand why we give things away for free. They don't understand why we prioritize equity. They don't understand why women need a space to be alone. And yeah, and so we are in constant conflict with those ideas, those traditional ideas. And so when we think about what scale and what raising capital looks like, we have to find new ways of funding that maybe there's somebody here that has a shit ton of money. But we are looking for like social impact investment. Show of hands, yeah. Raise your hand if you've got a lot of money. No, we are looking for social impact investors, and we're looking for angel investors and people who want to be in this with us for the long haul, and it just feels different than what traditional business looks like. And for scale for us, it's incredibly intentional. So while St. Paul might be is likely our next location. It is our next location. We're just putting it out in the universe, you guys. It'll just happen. We are also looking for communities that are like-hearted and like-minded to the Twin Cities. So maybe it's not the coasts or places that have community and covens already. Maybe it's places like Milwaukee or Fargo or Des Moines or Kansas City or Denver or I can name all the cities. You want me to name all the cities? All these incredible spaces that need community. And we want to go in there really intentionally and learn what they need and how we can best serve them. And that's how we want to grow. We don't want to be this big behemoth. We don't even call ourselves a co-working space, but we wouldn't want to be the biggest co-working space in the world. That's just not our nature. So people often say that Minnesota is flyover country. That's kind of annoying. They also say that it takes like 5 to 7 years for things to catch up here, which is also annoying. And I just think that we're proving them wrong. And there are many, many organizations out there who have been proving them wrong for decades. People who've come way, way before us. And the Twin Cities just really are leading the way in communities and by communities in equity and diversity and inclusion. And we want you to help us build our opportunities and opportunities for more people. So here are some ways that you can support. You can become a member. We've got lots of different opportunities there. You can donate a membership if you're a dude. Lots of people have done that, where they've either donated to our pool of community-funded memberships or found somebody in their lives who needs one. You can host an event in our space. We have a beautiful space. It doesn't have dinosaurs. Well, it does have dinosaurs. We have tiny dinosaurs. Yeah, we have tiny dinosaurs. And you can like and share us on social. This whole movement has been built basically online and by this woman right in front. Her name's Sydney Roberts. She's our community manager. Like seriously, she's the best. Like we would be dead. So she has really helped spread the word of mouth. We don't have a marketing budget. We all come from marketing. That's weird. So we have no money. So yeah, if you can like and share us on our social channels, that would be super helpful.
And I want to reiterate something that Alex said. So, while this is a space, the Coven is a community for women and non-binary folks, we have obviously had such incredible support from so many amazing men in our lives, both our partners, our friends, our allies. So many of you are here today, and we just love you, and you inspire us, and your support just gives us so much hope for what could be. If you are a dude and what we're saying resonates with you and you have ideas about how we can collaborate, come find us. We'd love to talk to you. We're doing more and more co-ed events at the Coven, and yeah, we think that everyone is better when everyone is better. And so if you have ideas, get at us. We'd love to talk to you. And if you are a dude who has some money in your pocket, you should buy a membership for a lady. Okay, so real quick, there are so many organizations doing such incredible work here in the Twin Cities, and we would just be remiss if we didn't put a few of them out into the world. And so you probably know a lot of these folks already. If you don't, Indigenous Roots Cultural Arts Center over on the east side of St. Paul is an incredible group of people doing amazing work for lots of different Indigenous communities here in the Twin Cities. They celebrate art, culture, business, everything. So they're creating a space that is, again, unlike anything that exists here. If you haven't been over there, go to one of their events. You'll be supporting an incredible group of folks that's really working to change things for our Indigenous populations, and it's just really cool work that they're doing. Juxtaposition Arts on the north side of Minneapolis. Yes. Led by Deanna and Roger Cummings, who are two of the most exceptional humans I've had the pleasure of knowing, but they've been around for about 25 years. They use creativity and commerce to help teach young people art and design skills to help them go out and make money. So they have a graphics lab where they teach young people design, they have a textiles lab where they teach young people fashion and screen printing, and a million other things. They're just incredible. They're building a beautiful new campus on the north side. And they are literally changing future generations of the Twin Cities, and they're just amazing. Lunar Startups, also in St. Paul. Melissa Colsing Lynch. Yep, boom, she's great. She's amazing. And they are, if you are a tech entrepreneur or you have a startup, go see them. They are doing some really cool work specifically for women and people of color. So if you have an idea for a business or you want to take your business to the next level, you should definitely check them out. They're just opened in St. Paul. The Wedge is one of our corporate partners, and the work that they're doing around food right now is really important. So they're talking a lot about food security and about food equity, right? So we think of the Wedge, we think of wholesome food is expensive, and so they're helping to unpack why does it have to be that way and what can we do to make food more equitable. So we love them, and there's just incredible folks who are, again, trying to change the way that our communities eat. If you're a lady and you have big ideas and you are on an upward trajectory and you just want to take the world by storm, you should check out the BWC. BWC stands for Business Women's Circle. They are headed by a woman named Lonnie Bassa. Alex has described Lonnie as a warm cookie, and I think that that's a really good description. Yep. So they do really great work. If you're looking, again, to like kind of propel yourself to the next level, definitely check out what they're doing and join one of their circles. They're doing some just really cool work, and like such great people are a part of that organization. And then finally, a big shout out to our friends and partners over at Alchemy. So Alchemy is a gym located in the Twin Cities. They have locations in St. Paul, Edina, Minneapolis, et cetera, et cetera. We work out there like 4 to 6 times a week because they make the crazy stop in our heads, and we like that a lot. And they're doing some really cool things with just making people of all different physical abilities and body types feel like athletes, and I think that that's really cool. I am not an athlete, I'm an art nerd, and so the fact that they can make me feel like an athlete in my little sports bra and my leggings is pretty primo. So definitely go check them out as well. And there's a million other communities that we could highlight, but these are just some of the ones that are, like we said, inspiring us every day. So we're really grateful for them and the work that they're doing, and you should support them too. Okay, so with that, we are done. Again, thank you for spending your Friday morning with us. This has been such an honor to share our stories. Okay, thank you. Thank you.